Turn now to a briefing that is happening as we speak in Milwaukee. Here on Live Impact News, we want to bring you now to Executive of the County, Milwaukee County, David Crowley, who's giving a statement regarding the arrest of a judge. Quick backstory, county judge in Milwaukee has been arrested by the FBI, accused of obstructing the detention of an undocumented immigrant who was wanted by federal authorities. Let's listen in now.
Shown up and arrested what they call illegal immigrants. Now we're seeing the arrest of a circuit court judge. What was your initial reaction to hearing this news this morning?
Well, hearing the news, I was quite frankly, I was surprised. You know, when we talk about our judges who are here to uphold the law, you know, it's really about making sure we give people that due process. And so, first and foremost, I seen the tweet from Director Patel before I heard anything about the charges, which was very concerning. But at the end of the day, folks need to realize that our county courthouse, all of our public hallways are public. This is a public entity. And so when it comes down to the courtrooms themselves, that is up to what the judges are going to do. And so we, again, are going to continue to work with the sheriff's office, our chief judge, to figure out how we continue to move forward. But at the end of the day, we need this to be a safe space. And even if you are an undocumented immigrant, we need you to be able to understand that this is a safe space for us. They may be a witness in a crime. They may be a victim in the crime. And if they're a witness, for example, we need them to be able to come into this building and feel safe, to be able to talk, to actually be a witness. And so it does concern me. It absolutely concerns me.
Mr. County Executive, where this happened and how it happened, where in the building did this happen? Did you see any video of it or anything?
I have not. I don't have all the details related to where the arrest happened and how it happened, but we're looking to get that information.
You called it performative, so what are you basing you call the arrest performative?
There was a large presence of law enforcement officers that were here. That's the reason why I said it was performative.
In the first Trump administration, the states of Massachusetts and New York successfully pursued injunctions prohibiting ICE officials from accessing state courthouses, so as to protect their state court process and create the safe space that you referenced, Mr. County Executive. Are you, as the County Executive, considering any affirmative legal action against the Trump administration to enjoin ICE officials from pursuing immigration arrests in the courthouse?
Again, we're having a lot of conversations with many of our partners. I don't want to put too much information out there, but we're looking at every avenue that we can as it relates to protecting people's due process in this building.
Have you been made aware of any other cases or examples of judges being arrested by federal agents?
I am not aware of any cases of that matter.
Then why do you think they picked Milwaukee?
I do not know. Again, you've seen many of these attacks on many judges across this country anytime they have went up against any policy decision that this administration has put forth. Again, we need our judicial officers to have their independence, and that's what we need to make sure that we are protecting. But I have, again, don't know of any other cases where the Trump administration has arrested a judge.
How could this have been handled differently? You criticized the tweet and you criticized the arrest. How do you think it could have been handled differently?
I'm not law enforcement, right? And so when I think about how this could have been handled, one, we're talking about a sitting judge who uphold the laws and interpret our laws. But for her, for example, to come to the courthouse and be arrested, why didn't this happen at her home? There are a lot of questions that we have as well, and we're looking to get some answers.
The criminal complaint states that Judge Dugan took federal agents into Chief Ashley's office, left them there, went into a separate room, went back and got the person who was supposed to be allegedly undocumented, escorted that person out of the courthouse, and then that person got away. Eventually he was arrested. But what is your reaction to learning that that is how federal agents are describing what happened that day and are alleging that that's why she's being charged today?
Again, this is the first time that I'm hearing exactly what had happened, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're following all of our laws right here in Milwaukee County. And we are extensions of the state, and we're going to uphold the state and the federal Constitution. But we, again, want to get those facts as much as possible. So I can't speak to the details because I want to hear exactly what had happened. I appreciate your reporting, but I'm just not going to speak to that.
Under what conditions would Judge Dugan be able to resume her job as judge? Like, what would have to happen for that?
That's a great question. I think that's a question for the chief judge. I think that it may be a possibility of them reassigning many of her court cases, but I think that you should ask the chief judge that particular question. I have not heard anything as of this moment.
Can you just give us the few details you do Do you know about her arrest? Was it in the cafeteria or somewhere else in the courthouse? What time did it happen?
I just know that it happened on our county courthouse complex early this morning. Those are pretty much the only details that I have at this
Inside or
time.
outside, do you know?
I don't know as of right now.
Any indications from the Evers administration, the chief judge, or the Supreme Court as to whether or not Judge Dugan will continue to draw a salary while she defends herself against these charges?
I have not had any conversations at this moment with the Supreme Court or anybody at the state level, so I don't know.
All right,
Was
thank
the
you.
sheriff's office involved? Anyway?
I don't know. We're still getting as many questions answered as possible at this moment. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, there we have, wrapping up there, a statement from the county executive of Milwaukee County. That was Executive David Crowley regarding the arrest of Judge Hannah Dugan, which we all kind of just learned about this afternoon. He alluded to this in that update, the fact that he found out about this situation, he says, because of a tweet from FBI Director Kash Patel. We should note that tweet has since been deleted off of X. That post was made there on the platform X. Bit of a backstory once again with this case. This was an arrest of a county judge. She is accused of obstructing federal authorities' attempts to arrest an undocumented immigrant who was seemingly at the courthouse for proceedings. And specifically, the accusations are that this judge escorted the man and his legal defense through a non-public jury door. So essentially out of the purview and the reach of federal authorities who were there to arrest him. And it is important to note, we heard the county executive talking about how he couldn't think of any other case where we've seen this before. However, NBC News is actually reporting that there was a case back in 2019 that was pretty similar. This was actually under President Trump's first term, where the U.S. attorney in Boston ended up charging not only a judge, but also a court officer with obstruction of justice. For a similar situation, they were accused of aiding an undocumented immigrant who was leaving the courthouse through a back exit. And ultimately, it looks like that case ended up getting dismissed in federal appeals. Well, it went through federal appeals court. They were trying to get it dismissed. That was denied, but then the prosecutors ended up reaching a deal to drop those charges. So it essentially went nowhere once the transition administrations happened to President Biden's then administration. So certainly a situation we'll continue to keep an eye on.